Okay, hi Year 6, it's Mrs Klein again. So this is Monday the 11th of January's book talk. So hopefully you've got the extract in front of you now and you can see my screen. If I give my mouse a little wiggle, you might be able to see that I'm sharing the text with you as well. Okay, so I'm going to read the introduction first of all. If you scroll down, you'll see that there's an introduction just to give you a bit of a context of this extract. So here we go. The main characters in Letters from the Lighthouse are Olive and her brother Cliff. They are living in London during World War II, and in this extract they have gone to the local cinema to watch a film. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back up now and I'm going to make it slightly bigger so you can hopefully see. And we're going to start reading from this line. Abruptly, the film stopped. So hopefully you can see that and you've actually got that in front of you. Okay, so you can track with me. Use a rule if you need to. And I should just give a little wiggle with my mouse to show you where we're going each line as it changes. Okay, here we go. Abruptly, the film stopped. The lights came up. I blinked at the announcement on the screen. Air raid in progress. Please leave the theatre immediately. Head to the nearest shelter. Blast it, I said, reaching for my coat and gas mask. Come on, Cliff, we'd better find Suki. People began to leave, though not very quickly. All around us, seats thudded as they flipped upright. Coats were shaken out, hats pinned in place. There was a fair bit of complaining going on too. Should we ask for our money back? Asked Cliff. What? I was still half thinking of those poor people in the newsreel. Oh, we'll ask Suki. Keep hold of my hand. Weaving through the crowds, we headed for the foyer. It was then the seriousness of our situation sank in. Beginning to worry, I told myself this was no different from any other air raid, and they were happening almost every day now. Most of the action was down near the docks. On Fairfoot Road, where we lived, there'd been more of an annoyance, forcing you out of bed in the middle of the night and into a freezing cold air raid shelter. In the foyer, the lights were off. All I could see were the outlines of the front doors, and the cash desk was just inside. Already the space was filling up with people, but our sister wasn't one of them. She can't still be in the lavs. Cliff's hand felt sticky in mine. She's probably powdering her nose, I said, with a confidence I wasn't feeling. You've seen how glammed up she is tonight. She's the dead spit of Mum. She's got her best coat on, that's why. I tapped my foot anxiously. Oh, come on, Suki. As the last few people came out into the foyer, the mood seemed to change. People were hurrying, jostling into those already making their way out. Stop pushing, a man shouted like he was in charge. We'll get you all out, just slow down. Holding Cliff's hand even tighter, I wasn't sure what to do. Stay and wait for Suki, or go with everyone else to the nearest shelter. Someone was shining a torch at the floor to help guide people's feet. Then that went out too. Okay, so we're going to scroll down and we're going to have a look at the questions together now. So I'll try and make those a little bit bigger, but hopefully you've got the questions now in front of you. So you've got 3 questions, and the first question says, select 3 verbs from the text that show how people are moving. So how were they moving? Verbs. So remember, a verb is describing the action of what somebody, the noun, is doing. So we're looking at movement, verbs of movement. So you need to find 3. So the second question, on page 7, so we're going to make sure that we only look at page 7 and scroll up to only page 7. We're looking at that page only. How has the author described the setting to build tension? So we need to think about what the setting is. So we already know, don't we, that it's in a foyer, in a cinema. Okay, so we're actually at a cinema, that's the setting. And it wants to know, how has the author described the setting to build tension? So remember, I used that word foyer. So that is the entrance part to the cinema. And often theatres, they have these larger rooms where at the entrance hall, if you like, as you walk in up the steps and you go into the building, you can see that there's the ticket machine. Usually they're the ticket desk, and people gather there to meet before going into the theatre or the auditorium. Okay, so that's the foyer. So you're describing the setting, and it wants to know how that tension has been built up. So really think about how that has been built up by the author. Okay. And question 3, describe the change in reaction of the characters from when the film is stopped to when they enter the foyer. So remember, the characters we're thinking about in this extract are Olive and her brother Cliff. Suki, we know, is in the toilets, we think. She's not anywhere to be seen at the time. So they're waiting for Suki. But how has that tension, okay, the reaction, sorry, of the characters been changed? How does it change? So look back to when the film stops. Okay, so we're scrolling up to that first part where it mentions how the film abruptly stops. Okay, here. So think about from there, it wants to know until they actually enter into the foyer. Okay, so here we go into the foyer. They've entered into the foyer. How has that reaction of those characters, Olive and Cliff, how has it changed? Okay, so hopefully that's a little bit of a help. And remember to write your sentences like you do in school, really at your best quality, with capital letters where they're needed, full stops where they're needed, and spellings from the text obviously got to be spelt absolutely spot on correct. Okay, so hope you have a lovely time doing this, and I shall see you all again tomorrow. Bye.